and of course analysis with the lady and gentleman we have in studio. And today, of course, we are asking you, Gor Mahia are running amok atop the KPL table. They've opened up a 7-point lead. And we are asking you, is the KPL title race a foregone conclusion after Gor Mahia opened up a 7-point gap at the apex of the KPL table? We want to hear your thoughts. At Citizen TV Kenya, at Isaac Swiller, and of course, SMS line is 22422. So pick your phone and start texting hashtag Daybreak. At the tail end, of course, we will be sampling your feedback, and we want to hear your thoughts on that. And of course, our top story is here, did allude to it, about the political tourneys, and so is Arocho. And the ended festive season was awash with sporting activities countrywide, with the political elite sponsoring football tournaments, which they argue is aimed at identifying and tapping talent at the grassroots. From Governor Johnson Sakaja's Super Cup held in Nairobi to Cleophas Malala Cup in Western, the political players fell over themselves in a race to organize these tourneys. But do the competitions add value to Kenya's football, or are they aimed at achieving political goals? Steve Shitera with that special report.
A tournament here, a tournament there. From coast to eastern, Rift Valley to Nyanza, Nairobi and Western region, the language on everyone's lips during the festive season was that of football, the world's #1 game. Organized by politicians, both elected and aspiring, all in the name of nurturing talent at the grassroots.
Tumeleta youths pamoja wacheze mpira kwa sababu we are trying to use sports kuwatoa kwa drug abuse, kuwafanya pia wakuwe busy time ya Christmas na nini, na pia kuna cha talents pia, na pia tunajaribu kuexplore opportunities kwa sports.
Tuseme kama tunaweza kutaka tuwe na timu moja kutoka Hamisi, tunaweza kujua tutapata talent kutoka pande zote za Hamisi ili tutengeneze timu moja nzuri yenye inaweza kutuwakilisha kwa michezo zingine.
Let me say that Homa Bay is now officially the home of football. Why? Because when we went to Nairobi for the Talanta Hela, we came back with a trophy.
And in their numbers, the unemployed youths turned up to participate, but not too sure what the future held. Fans too did not disappoint. And the tourneys, organized right from the ward level, constituency up to the county level, kept the villagers busy, offering a good pastime activity. But what is the intention of the competitions?
Manake hapa mimi nimeona kuna talent hapa. Najua mimi ni mtu wa Arsenal kwa soka. Na najua hapa naweza kukuwa na wachezaji kama Saka. Wanaweza kutoka hapa. Ama Rashford, kama wale watu wa nini, wa Man U.
Tulianzia kule wadi, tumekuwa na michezo ambayo imekuwa ya kufana sana. Na leo tumefika kilele cha Governors Cup ambayo imehusisha timu za wasichana na pia timu za vijana.
Tunataka national government, county government wakitengeneza bajeti yao mpaka 70% ya bajeti iende kwa mambo ya vijana.
Shuka gavana wa Nairobi Johnson Sakaja.
And do they add value to Kenyan football growth and development?
Na tuko na wakubwa wa mpira hapa kina Gos Mulei na wale wengine wamekuja hapa kuangalia kama tunaweza kuchukua vijana wetu tupeleke kwa national government. Sorry, kwa national sports.
Nimefahamishwa kulikuwa na other tournaments, lakini hii kwa sababu imehudhuriwa na president wa KFK mwenyewe iko nambari 1. Vijana, you know, you specialize in soccer, you become Bampe. Ama unakuwa Neymar. Ama ukicheza zaidi unakuwa kama mimi Messi.
However, football stakeholders have faulted their approach, blaming Football Kenya Federation for failing to put proper structures in place to regulate the political tournaments.
You've seen the cash prizes that have been given in recent tournaments. That tells you that there's a very big gap. So we are able to tap the talent with the current activities that are going on, but we're not able to nurture that talent. To do that, you need an entire process of developing an academy system that actually works.
The skills we have, but the way we do the administration of football is wrong. FKF should be a regulator.
The stakeholders instead want the political players to pay attention to the development of sports infrastructure, which are in deplorable condition, instead of concentrating on the seasonal tournaments. Equally, they want the political elite to channel the funds used in the tourneys to supporting the teams at the grassroots, many of whom compete in the FKF zonal and county leagues, but are struggling to make ends meet. Steve Shitera, Sporty Monday, Nairobi.
Good story there by Steve Shitera. And ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the thematic areas in that story. There's the question of structures. There's the question of, is it regulated? Financial difficulty clubs face, and of course, infrastructure. Maybe I'll begin with you, Isia. Are these tourneys really adding value to the growth and development of sports or football in Kenya?
I'll say yes and no. And I'll qualify my statement in this way. We're talking about politicians here, right?
Yes.
So it's good to draw some thoughts from some of the old political theorists. One, Niccolo Machiavelli said that the end always justifies the means. Meaning that if the end of the result, the result that you get is good, whatever way you used to reach there, doesn't matter. You understand? And that is what politicians do all the time. They know the power of football, the beautiful game. If you want to bring people together, you know, they consult. They go to good communications like you, for example, and ask you that, what do you think I can do to bring like 1,000 youths together very fast? You tell them football. So am I coming to make sure that I'm tapping talent, I'm promoting sports, or am I coming to bring youth together because of my political agenda? Again, the end justifies the means. So whether it's for the sport good or anything else, they will do that. Now, why am I saying it's good? Sometimes last year, one of our reporters, Francis Oguko, I quote him because he did a good story about the Vihiga Queens team. And he said that the team rose from local tournaments, some sponsored by politicians. But it took the mind of the leadership that time, and they said, we are winning everything as a village team. That time they called it, they were calling it Kidundu ladies. They said now we have outgrown these regional tournaments, village tournaments, and they rose to be the team of the year. The most successful football club, women club in Kenya. You know, they have played in Sekafa and also in CAF Champions League. So it can be a platform if the leadership of these clubs are visionary. It can be a platform for rising up. But again, it is an old thing that politicians have done over years, and they would stop because they know the power of football. So the question is the regulator, where we are. Swila, you know, today in communication, it comes, for example, in the field of communication, which we practice all of us, from mainstream media even to social media and all that, there's a regulator. That's where FKF comes in. How well is FKF doing when it comes to regulating these tournaments? Do the politicians and other organizers respect the place of FKF to an extent that when it comes to organizing, they'll first of all go and ask, how do I organize this tournament? The question of regulator. So yes, they are profitable, and to some extent, they are vehicles of political agenda.
Shitera, picking the cue from Isia, is it mining political capital? Because we are talking of seasonal tourneys once in a year, most likely in December when everybody is in the village. From where I sit, for you to identify, nurture the talent, you need to walk a journey with this youngster. every week, I'm working on your weak areas. Is it the ball control? Is it the making runs? Is it making passes? How do you work on your weak areas? Do I have to sit in Nairobi, come to your village once in December, pump in money within a 3-4 day tournament, then I say, I'm offering youth a platform through which they can realize their potential?
I would say mining political mileage will take 70%, because look at it this way. Some of these politicians and businessmen reside in Nairobi. But why don't they hold the Tourneys in Nairobi? They go back home when they are on their holiday mood to organize some tournaments, try to popularize themselves, and try to make a name out of football. As Isia says, football is the #1 game, very popular. If you want to get people through football, you'll get them. Look at the crowds. It doesn't matter. People are idle. They fill the stadium. It doesn't matter. Arocho also alluded to it. He has traversed all these regions. The reason better known to him. But what I would say is, as one of the commentators said there, that we are tapping talent. Isia said, we have tapped it, yes. But are we nurturing it? Senelwa was visionary and picked that platform and nurtured Vihiga Queens to what it is today. Yes, the talents were tapped, but he nurtured the talent. But most of the things that the politicians are doing, they are tapping talent, but they are not nurturing talent. Because if you tap a talent, I identify Zita, I really need to ensure that I incubate her, put her in a place where she will grow. But after the tournaments, it's 1st of January, it's over, they retreat to their respective positions. Then they will again regroup
in December.
Another thing is the age factor. You will find a 31-year-old, a 39-year-old, a 42-year-old
competing in the tourney.
Only to the end game, as he says, is to get the cash prize. And you heard Hussein there saying that there is a lot of money. A tournament was going for 5 million, another one 3 million, another one 1 million. Why don't we have a structured platform where we cascade the league into levels? We start at the zonals all the way to the nationals. I like the Talanta Hela approach. Why can't the Ministry of Sports bring together all these governors? They are under the same government, different levels, county and national. CS Sports, Ababu Namwamba, organize with the 47 governors, where we'll have leagues running from the grassroots all up to the national level. And you will get talent from the grassroots up to the national level. And at the national level, the best, now you will put them into an academy, which I think the national government has. The sports academy, something of the sort. So that we don't lose value of the players we are looking at.
Arocho, coming to you, is raised fundamental issues, and maybe you can address the aspect of the monies. Lots of money being pumped into these tourneys, and the supposed teams are imaginary. Some of them can't even afford bus fare to honor fixtures, not even buses. Some of them even lack training facilities. But when probably you approach these political players, they're gonna not listen to these challenges. But come December, they have all the cash to come and dish out. And you said you attended them. What do you make of that?
Before I respond to your question, I'd like to address the issue of the relevancy of these tournaments. It only comes as a result of a gap that they've seen. I think the football family in this country has given that gap. Why is it that Malala's tournament, for example, has about 5 to 6 sponsors? It's simply because the federation, which has the mandate to run football in the country, has somehow failed in this sense. When you see a tournament run by the federation, you don't see sponsors. But when you see somebody like Malala, or even the governor of Nairobi, of Homa Bay, the governor of Nairobi, we saw several sponsors. It tells you that the people to finance these tournaments are there. It's just that we are not structured. Now, to come back to your question, I think money is everything. I normally say that money is not just everything. Money is the only thing. So when I have a tournament that is 2 million on the left, and you're giving me a tournament that is...
Prize money is 10 million.
There's nothing. There's nothing in that tournament. I'll go for this tournament.
Where there's money.
And in fact, if you are not for the fact that this tournament were restricted, players from the Premier League and the NSL were restricted not to play. They were all going to play in those tournaments. So basically, we need to organize our structures from the schools. I've been saying it here, the transition of soccer players from schools to league football is not that smooth. And this one is quite evident with these tournaments. There is a deficit. Everybody is yearning to see football. And when people are yearning to see football and they have not seen it for 11 months, if Arocho or any politician is there to add value by giving money, why not? So the deficit must be looked into, and we have to get a smooth transition from the youth system to the senior category.
Arocho thinks there's a gap more so within the federation that runs football in this country. But Zita, maybe as you give your remarks, maybe you can tell us the aspect of crowd. We are seeing huge crowds attend these tourneys. You go to KPL, even probably a derby pitting Kogalo versus Shabana or Leopards, you won't see the kind of crowds we are seeing in Mashinani.
I think because the people love to be associated with the team that comes from their place. And that's why you can see a lot of people that are coming to support these teams, because the teams are from the area. So, and that is what comes in as the political wave comes in, because a lot of people are coming to watch these games and a lot of people love football. So again, as we've all said and done, we've seen a lot of the players who played for Malala Cup, I think Cleophas Malala Cup, who went for trial for FC Leopards. If I can just name a few of them, that is Christopher Koloto, Mark Shabana, Charles Situma, just a few, because the team won. It was something Arsenal, but players came to play with there was a curtain raiser of FC Leopards, that is the junior team, with Zoya Sugar, Kakamega Homeboys. So they played for the curtain raiser for the Governor Cup, but most of the players who are playing for the youth team, for the FC Leopards team, they were picked from these tournaments that are happening to come for trials. So I think it's part of it. Even the other teams are picking players to come for trials from.
And they actually won against the Homeboys.
Actually, they actually won against Homeboys. So it's a good place to showcase the talents. But my question is, and my concern is about the players. You can get one player, because the tournament is in Western Kenya, one player playing all the tournament in that Western Kenya. How is he managing to play all the tournament in that region? Because he's just gambling to see where the money will come. Because today I'll play in this ward, tomorrow there's another game in there, and maybe he's the best player in that ward. You see, he was playing in all those wards. So for me, my concern is about that player. If he gets injured, who is going to take care of him? Because he's been playing in all these tournaments.
And Suila, just very quickly, I want to say this, that the work of the government, because some of these governors actually and politicians, their bigger role is in laying down the infrastructure. We must not miss the point that we want to see people playing, but we're not asking where are they playing.
Yes.
You see, because, for example, we must also remember that the end goal is not just picking the talent. There are people who play football and never go to the top. I remember when Sakaja was launching his Super Cup, I was there and he was saying, you MCAs and other coordinators go and give hope to the youth in the slums and everywhere. Because some of them may not get to the top, but we keep them busy. We make sure that they are not engaged in some of the social vices. But the idea is, because you governors have the money for infrastructure, sports is a devolved function also. Apart from the tournaments, what are you doing to make sure that in every county we have stadia that are standard? Absolutely.
And staying with the stadia, it's in a polling state, so to speak, from all the counties, beginning with Nairobi. City Stadium is in dire state, and so is the one that was launched by Governor Sonko in
Dandora Stadium.
Dandora. You go to Woodley, you go to Homa Bay, is not yet complete. You go to Sia. So At least the governors, we hope you can improve on the state of sport infrastructure in your regions. And to the question of the day, today we are asking you,